David Ayers gave a Suicide Squad back in 2016, which was, according to me, you're asking me, you're watching me, obviously, you're asking me, you know, it's implied you're asking me, or you're watching me to ask me in your mind so I can read your mind and give you my rating review of fucking, in this case, the Suicide Squad. What'd you think of the past one? The last one from 2016 was absolute garbage. Was the first time ever in all 36 episodes I've done so far of Who This Been Watching. Suicide Squad from 2016 was my first ever no ears. I amputated them shits, I cut them shits off, I took them, I buried them in the ground because that's what they should have done with the 2016 version of Suicide Squad. It was absolute trash, garbage. If it was a fetus, it should have been aborted from day one, minute one, second one. That should have been like as soon as the guy nut inside the proverbial vagina and knew the imminent threat of sperm hitting the egg and making something that would have been born eventually into Suicide Squad 2016. That's an immediate Plan B pill, midnight run to fucking, this, you know, before the pandemic, of course, midnight run to the pharmacy, Plan B pill, grab it off the shelf, make sure you're watching her. You can look each other in the eye as she swallows the Plan B pill to abort any possible version of 2016's Suicide Squad from ever existing. That's the not so polite, but that's the nutshell version of what I had to say about that version of Suicide Squad. It was terrible. 0 out of 0. I give that shit no ratings. I fell asleep watching it for the second time in my life when I had to review it too. And I think I gave up actually. It's on my IGTV. I think I gave up halfway. We're even trying to like discuss the plot or what the fuck was going on with it. So not necessarily the case with this one tonight, because we're going to be able to touch on this in detail again, as I mentioned, and I did hashtag in the pinned comment right here, spoilers. So if you haven't watched it yet, you're planning on watching it later tonight, tomorrow, whenever it comes up or it hits you to fucking do so, because it's a movie that's out there you can enjoy now that's been newly released and shit. It's a free country. Do what the fuck you want to do. But if you don't want to spoil for you and you're one of those woke fucks, or, you know, better yet said, cucks, that can't stand, you know, somebody else having freedom enough to do what they want to do with themselves, then you know what? We don't really have to have a problem, but you could go walk yourself out this door, proverbially, and in other words, maybe not so kind, go fuck yourself. Until later notice, come back afterwards when the live is over, or when I put this up on YouTube, youtube.com/whothisis1, and watch it then, if you don't want to spoil for you. If you don't mind, if you're like me, I don't care about spoilers, you can spoil the whole fucking thing for me, and then just based off your description, I'll know whether I want to watch it or not afterwards, or wherever the case may be. Ruin it. Okay, stick around. Stay, chill, let's talk, you know, comment, you know, play off, back and forth, whatever. I don't mind at all whatsoever. But here I am to do that for you, so I'm just letting you know in advance. Now, funny enough, leading into today's review and recap and everything I do with this whole Who This Been Watching thing. Unfortunately, I am not a fan of, and I don't partake in the woke culture, quote unquote woke culture, because I feel it's not really contributing positively, for the most part, to us advancing as, you know, being, I guess we can all say we're sort of civilized, but being more in the sense of actually contributing positively back to one another. Because with the woke culture comes the cancel culture and the Karens and everybody feeling they're entitled to just about everything they feel they deserve to have thrown their way. It's kind of like that saying now that's popular amongst, I guess, the younger crowd towards the older crowd. You know, you got to give the OGs their flowers while they can still smell them. I get that, and I'm all about that too. You know, appreciate basically someone before they die, and then you're like too regretful, too mournful about like, oh, I wish I would have taught to him, her, them before they dropped dead, or when they had time, or when they were still around. That I'm all for, but I'm not for just because someone, let's say for example, doesn't agree with your opinion, or they don't like something, and they gotta fucking announce it to the world as far as it being what they don't like, but on top of that, they add on an extra layer, unnecessary layer of it being quote unquote wrong because they don't like it, and for the reasons they don't like it, that doesn't sit well with me. at all whatsoever, any case scenario. I got a right to my opinion, hence why I do the podcast live here on IGTV at Who This Is One. I post it later at youtube.com/Who This Is One, and of course the audio version as well for your ears only on any podcasting platform of your preference later on. But you're also entitled to, guess what, your opinion out there watching, listening. And I encourage it. I implore you to have your own opinion on a movie, on life, politics, whatever the case is. You're entitled to what you want to feel and how you want to approach it. You don't have the right to walk all over mine, shit all over mine, or tell me I'm wrong. Basically, if we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, that I'm wrong for having my opinion. If I try to force my opinion to pass off as fact, that's where we gotta draw the line. That's what I got a problem with, and that's what I don't agree with, as far as I don't care left, right, whichever way your fucking politics or your dick or your pussy lips swing, I don't care. But let's just meet somewhere in the middle and let's make it fucking work and make something happen out of it. That's how we birthed the whole fucking nation. Shout outs to the United States of America for July 4th, Independence Day, whatever you choose to celebrate or not. You know, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, you're right, depending on your ancestry and such. You might have different versions, but I'm just saying, though, it's supposed to be the United States of America, or at least that's what it's implied. But opinion-wise, you know, train of thought-wise and all that, we're really fucking divvied up. We're really fucking getting split apart, bust open like a really loose, sloppy pussy. Didn't Abe Lincoln say himself, a house divided cannot stand amongst itself? So yeah, same thing for a fucking big sloppy pussy with the lips part to the side, splitting east, west. You don't know which way to go. It's just a big old mess in the middle too, dripping and oozing. It's not even because it's wet, it's just because it's been overused and pounded out like that. But that's what I'm saying though. Now, getting back to the point, I'm sorry, I kind of like went off rails right there. Why I said unfortunately. Unfortunately, earlier today, as I was at work and I had some free time, I checked out a review on YouTube from somebody I gotta emphasize now, used to follow, because I no longer do. I had enough with them today. It's just out of fucking hand with what they got in mind as far as them being able to express their opinion via their platform, irresponsibly, I might add. I used to follow and subscribe to Grace Randolph, / better known as Beyond the Trailer on YouTube, who was always known as a YouTube movie critic, still is of course. She's like short of like 1 million subscribers, so one less subscriber as in me not fucking with her no more, I don't think it's gonna matter to her. It's gonna even amount to like a drop of rain in a fucking bucket. But still, I had enough of her, and I'll tell you why. Because at some point it gets sickening, it gets bothersome. It's like a strenuous fucking labor task I gotta take upon myself to continue watching her reviews when she's taking on and putting on, like I put on the fucking ears to do this shit. She's like putting on this hat all the time, and Miss High and Mighty, you know, women are severely misrepresented in films, women of color, women of unidentified genders, unspecified genders and such too. There's no representation of the black people in the, you know, Asian, Islander, Pacific, strongly majority cast and shit like that too. Where's the female power role that's supposed to be a part of this thing too as well? It's just all over the place. And she's got those libtard views, she's got those like easily offended views. I had enough when I watched earlier today again, her review for Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad. I don't mind gore, I don't mind violence, I don't mind nudity, I don't mind none of the bullshit. Most of it you're gonna get from the Suicide Squad, as we'll discuss later. I do mind when somebody has obviously a problem or gets queasy, uneasy about gore. There's a lot of it. Blood, there's a lot of it. Killing, there's a lot of that too as well. But then what do you do with somebody who's a grown woman like she is? She's a part of the, Rotten Tomatoes panel of judges and critics and such. She gets invited to screeners, advanced previews, showings all the time too as well. She's always got a problem with something being too gory, too this, too that, the other. Well, guess what? If you're watching an R-rated film, and this, I wouldn't even say it's a strong R, it's like a mid to fucking RR per se rating that it earns. if you got a problem with that, why does that have to become one of the bigger issues with your review of a movie? Something that never actually happened, or if it's an autobiography, whatever base pick, it didn't happen either. It's just based off the story of how someone told about their life or a situation or a life event, etc., too. Not only does she have an issue with the amount of gore and violence, which is fine, I get it's not for everybody, you know. She has a problem also with the fact that there's nonsensical killing, as in innocent people and or civilians getting killed left and right practically in certain parts. That I understand and do see, but also it's a movie about a squad of bad guys slash convicts slash felons slash killers, murderers, hitmen for hire, psychopaths, half man, half shark, a guy that has like alien technology that was infused to him and made into a disease that he fucking uses as exploding polka dots he throws his people. So AKA, they all deserve the life sentences, the amount of time in jail they're gonna be in for what the fuck they did. All the dirt they accumulated and had growing under their fingernails because they killed, they murdered, they committed crimes, robbed banks, held heists, all that shit. So what do you expect from an R-rated movie on top of that, which again, 2016's version should have been R-rated. No sense in fucking making it PG-13 or appealing to a broader audience because we gotta market toys and fucking, paraphernalia, whatever fucking associated with fucking goddamn Suicide Squad from back when. Now it's R-rated. Now it makes sense. Now you can actually fucking watch it and enjoy it for what it is. An R-rated fucking gritty movie. Grit your teeth and bear with it. So I don't understand why, as far as she's concerned, this Grace Randolph chick, which again, I immediately unsubbed, unfollowed everywhere possible because I had it up to fucking here with her, or excuse me, up to fucking here with her. Just because it's enough already. She was painting, there's a big fucking issue I had with her because of the movie, because she totally fucking misrepresented and blew it out the water as far as the part with Harley Quinn later on that we're gonna again discuss in full detail. She got it totally wrong. Absolutely fucking wrong. And she's trying to pin Harley Quinn of all people as the face or the representative of abused women being able to prevail, above all else, and being able to shake off the proverbial chains of being weighed down with what might have happened to them in the past as a victim, or fucking having endured what they endured, again, because of, in Harley Quinn's case, the Joker, any other abusive male presence in her life. It's just, it bothered me so much. Just because, again, this Grace Randolph lady, again, almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So again, me not subscribing any longer, it's not gonna make any difference to her, not gonna fucking put a hole in her wallet or dent it whatsoever. But the best way I can put it is she's one of those women, one of those fucking critics in this case too, that just take it so much to heart. She's one of those people, like, if a man, nowadays, considering the cancel, woke, Karen culture, whatever too, if a man happens to breathe too heavy, a deep breath, near a woman, whatever the case may be, she's gonna be one of those screaming because she happens to be nearby, inconveniently enough. She's gonna be one of those screaming, sexually repressing that woman. Stop oppressing her with your male presence and dominance because you already have white privilege, or even if you're not white, male privilege. You're taking over her, you're abusing her, you're subjecting her to fucking this and that and the other because you fucking took a deep breath around her, and it's like, she's one of those. So it's just, I had enough. It was this review especially because not only is she promoting that libtard, that fucking women have been repressed, oppressed for so long, it's about time, at least in movies, that they give a stronger, clear presence at the forefront. Women can be badasses, women can be lead actresses too and carry a whole movie franchise on their shoulders. Don't ask Ghostbusters, but that's what she's implying. But when she starts giving out false info as far as, Harley Quinn was raped in this movie, that did not happen. Not at all, not insinuated. It wasn't even alluded to in the slightest bit. So once she spewed that shit, once she said some other shit about animal cruelty and shit too, grossly exaggerated in her case, that's when I said, you know what, that's officially nailing the coffin for me. I'm done with Grace Randolph and beyond the trailers fucking YouTube shit. Unsubbed, unfollowed. I can't take it no more from her. She's a fucking idiot. She's gone off the deep end at this point. And I even left her a comment in the sense of saying, you know, you got this wrong, you got that wrong, you exaggerated about this, you grossly misrepresented your own fucking stupid ass by saying that about shit that didn't happen at all. So, you know, I have to unsub. Otherwise, I wouldn't give a shit about unsubbing quietly. You know, peace out, I'm gone. You know, my presence was not felt to begin with because you got a million other people following you anyway. What is losing one that just happened to bother the voice's opinion and one fucking honest comment to you even matter? It doesn't. But guess what? I'm gonna leave it there as a timestamp when exactly, what day and time I fucking commented enough to say, I'm done with you. You're practically retarded at this point. I had it up to here with you. So that's it. But it doesn't matter. But that is one big issue though, because you also know with that, because Suicide Squad, oh look, there's an overgrown human shark guy there doing his thing. There's like a fucking guy that looks like a weasel and a guy with polka dots. Parents are gonna be irresponsible enough to take their kids, however old they are, to see this fucking thing, and they're gonna get grossed out within 5-7 minutes of the film itself, and then walk out. And then guess what? They're not gonna blame themselves, the parents, for doing that to their kids. No, they're gonna blame, guess what? Warner Brothers, James Gunn, Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, Slyvester Stallone, the whole fucking cast of Possible, you know, the nearest white man they're encountering in a fucking business suit because you're probably the CEO that approved this shit and damaging my baby from having to see this grotesque shit on a fucking big screen, and on top of that having to pay $20 just for a ticket to sit down and watch this shit for barely 5 minutes, having to fucking walk out because of your stupid ass and blah, 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 whatever. All right, so, without further ado, at this portion now, if you made it this far and you don't like spoilers, well, too bad for you because I'm going to spoil the shit out of this thing for you. All right, so here we go with the Suicide Squad, 2021 version directed by James Gunn. And of course, as I mentioned before, it is starring or co-starring, whatever the order is. I mean, it's probably starring Margot Robbie because the women are going to have a fucking pussy fit if we don't mention her first. So Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, Slyvester Stallone is the voice of King Shark. Pete Davidson pops in and out at some point in the movie too as well. Who the fuck else? Oh, John Cena, of course. John Cena was in there. We're gonna do plenty of John Cena talk just because it's worth it, but not in the good sense of it's worth talking about John Cena. I'll explain later and elaborate why. The clear opener out the fucking gate as far as this movie is better than Suicide Squad 2016 already is because how they open the fucking movie. Not only do they open the fucking movie up with, I had to write his name down to get his name right, Michael Rooker. He's the guy from, I forget his name, he was on The Walking Dead, more recently known as Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, the guy in all blue and shit with the fucking flying spike thing that he used to whistle to summon and shit. And also in this movie is the very first fucking, official, unofficial Suicide Squad Ian, or Task Force X member that we're introduced to, because it opens up in fucking the jail yard. He's covered by fucking, he's surrounded by cement walls and shit. Bounces a little handball around too with like, at some point a little fucking bird drops by, you know, tweeting like a Twitter would. Bounces the ball enough off the walls to fucking smack him to the bird so much with such force that it dies upon impact, which is fucking pretty cool. At least a rough, clear opener. Now, the point as to why this scene alone is already better than fucking the whole almost 2 hours of Suicide Squad from 2016 is because the song choices. They chose Johnny Cash, rest in peace, Folsom Prison Blues, which is not so obscure, but not so popular either, which is one of the biggest blemishes as far as 2016's Suicide Squad is concerned, because they picked nothing but fucking a couple of recent hits around the time of that release, as well as already known fucking songs that everybody knows from just picking their, picking through their parents' playlists and shit of when they were younger. James Gunn, I would assume perhaps, maybe took the guy who he left in charge of picking the music for Guardians of the Galaxies 1 and 2, took him with him over here too as well to do this thing with the Suicide Squad. So therefore why throughout the movie you actually get some pretty quality cuts. Not gems, not classics, not like fucking I want to search the playlist on Spotify as soon as I'm done watching the movie on the level of Guardians of the Galaxy. But he did at least pick, if not James Gunn, whoever he fucking assigned to do so, this guy or this girl, perhaps person, picked the right shit throughout the fucking movie to set the tone. So you start off with Johnny Cash, again, Folsom Prison Blues, sets the tone just right. His name's Savant, and again, forgive me, I don't know the DCU like that, the DC universe, so I don't know what the fuck his powers were, because as soon as he pops in, is like as soon as he gets fucking killed off. Because they, like they did the first time around in the previous version, they implant the fucking ticking time bombs in the neck. If you fucking diverge, if you try to abandon ship as far as like not complete your mission assigned, then we're gonna blow your fucking head off, clearly. So he gets cold feet, he turns pussy when they take his ass, and they take a bunch of other fucking idiots in jail as well too. And we're assuming at this point, this is the version of the Suicide Squad we're getting for this movie also, but then you're like, where's King Shark? Where's John Cena? Where's fucking Bloodsport, Idris Elba? Where's Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn? And then we do get Harley Quinn, then she's there and does her thing. I will let you know in advance, again, these are spoilers you're gonna get, you know, from top to bottom practically. I'm gonna ruin the movie for you if you haven't watched it just yet. But yeah, basically I'm saying in advance, Harley Quinn is a big, fat fucking letdown, the whole movie. Cringe, unfunny, borderline stupid. She has one redeemable part in the whole movie that we'll touch on later. As much as I'd like to touch on Margot Robbie in real life, but that's besides the point though too. It's a real disappointment how they fucking use her, poorly portrayed her throughout the fucking film. Real Birds of Prey, which wasn't great either, but it was pretty good still, and I enjoyed it. Did a much better job with Harley Quinn, which is surprising too. I'd even dare say now in advance, call me crazy, but I will say this. Even the 2016 version of Suicide Squad did a better job with Harley Quinn there than they did here overall. But again, at least in this version tonight, 2021, she does have a one standout, very redeemable part. But it doesn't really make up for the rest of her throughout the fucking movie, because she's kind of fucking stupid for the most part again. So yeah, now moving on to that. Now you get this whole fucking squad, apparently the Suicide Squad you think you're gonna get slapped together. Savant, there's some blonde face mask guy with called Javelin, because he has a fucking spear or a javelin, I think you call that thing. There's a man-weasel hybrid called Weasel. And there is a, who the fuck else was it? Oh, a TDK, which it was pretty clever. They didn't say what the TDK stands for. They even make a joke out of it when they're on the fucking helicopter all together, like, oh, your name's TDK, what does that stand for? And he's like, that's my name. It's like, well, your name can't just be letters, but then he's like, well, all names are just letters, so what are you talking about? We don't get till later on when he finally gets to show off his powers as TDK person, unpleasantly enough to everybody else in the Suicide Squad that's kind of just slapped together. Harley Quinn points out, wait, TDK means the disposable, oh God, what was it again? Oh, the detachable kid. As far as his limbs, his arms, and I guess his legs too, if he would have lived long enough, his arms detached from his body to like just kind of take a life upon their own and kind of just, honestly, it just reminded me of like, if you ever played that game, Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze, whatever. I think, is that the one you had to like slap the bongos in rhythm to like do some action on the screen? It was basically just that. This guy just attaches his fucking arms and he has no control over his arms once it's attached, or maybe like it's like when you know you stray too far away from your Bluetooth speaker and you start like cutting out a little bit. I think the arms were detached too far enough and he went too far with him where he didn't know how to control them, manipulate from that far a distance, so he was just like slapping soldiers on the head because they got a touchdown the beachfront, and invade this island called, what was it, Corto Maltese, whatever. He extends his arms out and he's just slapping guys on the head, soldiers with fucking guns in their hands on the head. Enough where I guess they get a cheap laugh out of it, they're entertained enough by it, but then eventually, you know, they shoot him up. He's dead. So he gets killed, but the first official / unofficial kill, I'm really gonna spoil it for you now. If you don't make it to the very end of the film, you will find out, or you won't find out till then, that the man Weasel character lives. Presumably he drowns because he dropped out the helicopter and no one told the rest of the team he couldn't swim. So it seems like he drowns, I don't know, because he's an animal mostly instead of man. He gets dragged to the beach. He gets left there for most of the movie, and then he actually lives, coughs up some water, and that's about it really. Savant, Michael Rook, gets cold feet, turns pussy real quick because you know what? He says, I can't take this shit no more. I'm gonna fucking die pretty much out of here. So he tries to flee and he swims off to try to go wherever else he can and tries to escape because again, the javelin guy died already. Pete Davidson, black guard, I think his name was, he gets shot in the face, clean off. There was another girl who was orange with like a purple outfit. I don't know if she had like Hulk or She-Hulk like powers, but she jumps on a helicopter at some point to try to like stop these soldiers from killing them, but then she drags it down because it's too heavy or whatever too, and then she dies because of that also in the helicopter crash. Oh yeah, and they actually give us Captain Boomerang again from the get-go, which I was never happy about from the first time around because I thought, well, if Marvel has Hawkeye, which again, I'm not a fan of Hawkeye, I don't see the point of Hawkeye, a bow and arrow guy, he might as well be Robin Hood, if anything, amongst the Avengers. He's pointless otherwise. They got Captain Boomerang, who only has boomerangs. Okay, yeah, metallic, you know, that can kill you kind of boomerangs, but still, all he does is throw them back, has to wait for them to come back to him, and then use them again. Otherwise, he's useless, can't fight in his own with his own bare hands. He's there too. We get him, but thank God, at least in this version, what I do credit the film immediately with doing, the 2021 version, is that they immediately kill off all the weak motherfuckers. You don't have to fucking tolerate a Captain Boomerang like you did the first time around. You don't have to tolerate the fucking emo Diablo like the first time around, who doesn't use his powers, his fucking fire until the very, very end, dies, by the way, in 2016, and doesn't get a mention, no RIP, no tombstone, no headstone, nothing at all. It's like he never existed. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Captain Boomerang, at least this time around, immediately dies. He tosses his shit, he gets one cool kill with his boomerang, slices a guy's head off, comes right back to him, of course, because that's the point of a boomerang. But then after that, and the whole entanglement with the fucking helicopter and shit too, he gets blown to pieces. He's dead too. All right, so like I mentioned, Captain Boomerang, dead early. The Weasel, we assume, dead early because he drowned. The other two drowned too as well. The only living party was Savant, but then he fucking dies because he gets his head blown off because Weller, the fucking head of the Task Force X, blows him up because he was aborting the mission. So he's there in the water, floating corpse, head missing and shit. Remember I told you there was a little bird that he killed with his fucking handball in prison? Well, another similar enough bird, or maybe the bird's cousin, like from, you know, Corto Maltese, flew onto the corpse, you know, floating in the water, and started picking away at his exploded neck and shit. And like, I didn't really get the point of it. I know it's kind of like, it's R, let's just throw it in there, whatever too. But the bird picks a bit of flesh from the neck and just wolfs it down, swallows it. So I don't know, that was kind of thrown in there. But meanwhile, while this upfront security deposit, you know, no warranty on it available to you, version of the Suicide Squad, or who we think is legit Task Force X, gets fucking killed immediately, we get the real Task Force X, Suicide Squad, pulling up on the other end of the island, which Weller was keeping safe with fucking, what's his name? Commander Flag. There's John Cena / Peacemaker. There's fucking Sylvester Stallone / King Shark. There's Idris Elba / Bloodsport. And there's the polka dot man. I don't know his fucking real name, so don't ask me. Oh yeah, and Ratcatcher too, obviously. Oh, excuse me. the cute ass Ratcatcher 2. She's the chef's kiss for this episode. That girl, I don't know her fucking name, some kind of foreign, who gives a shit. But yeah, the real Suicide Squad pulls up on the other end of the fucking island. They're there to fucking do damage and complete their mission of getting to the fucking, what do they call it? La Gatita Amable, which means a polite pussy in Spanish, which is a nightclub slash strip club on the island, which, what do you call it? They have to invade to get into one of the guys who's got the information to access the secret lab they're supposed to blow up and destroy as part of their fucking mission, as we learn later on. Oh yeah, so another good thing this movie did was, if you remember from 2016's version, if you saw that at all, is they kind of forced this like cool, hip-like, music infused in the background, introductions to all the characters. So they do the thing with it as far as, you know, of course, we're forced to be reintroduced to Joker, we're forced to be reintroduced to fucking Harley and all these other idiots from the fucking first one that no one cared about and they all sucked anyway. Yeah, so we get introduced roughly to fucking Bloodsport, who, as described by fucking Weller, he's the one that fucking put Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet, so he's like a walking weapon himself. As long as he has a fucking pencil in his hand, he's like a killer, if anything, with the potential to kill anybody. So he's cleaning out the fucking prison and shit. She taps him on the shoulder saying, hey, listen, this time you're gonna wanna fucking join up with the Suicide Squad and be the leader of the team because I choose you, like he was Pikachu or some shit. And he's like, get the fuck away from me, you bitch. I've got nothing that you could do to me that's gonna make me join your Suicide Squad, Hatu, or whatever. But this time she's got an incentive and or fucking ulterior motives to get him to fucking join and lead the whole thing because of all things. Of course, cue the fucking shit they did last time with, what was his name? What was his fucking name from Suicide Squad 2016, Will Smith? Deadshot? Who gives a shit? He sucked anyway too. But when they did that whole daughter, I'm a bad guy, but I'm a great dad, or I try to be because I fucked up and killed before, but not my daughter, never ever. Like they did with him in the first one, they did the same thing here with Idris Elba and Bloodsport with his daughter, except he's clearly in jail the whole time. He's not getting out anytime soon, and fucking the daughter has to visit him because, well, she's getting in trouble. She got caught stealing, and of course his Father of the Year advice is, well, did you keep a lookout with you like I told you? She says no, and it's like, well, that's why you fucked up and you're here now. You're gonna be in here with me practically. So they have a wonderful, actually, like, fuck you off, a whole scene where they're like, fuck you, now fuck you, and just screaming it at the top of their lungs and actually convincingly made it look like, oh shit, that might be his daughter in real life, because the way he was spewing that fuck you or hitting that fuck you with emphasis to her was really memorable and really fucking enjoyable to see too, because she hits him right back with it too. She looks, the look in her face is like she absolutely means it as well too. So it's enjoyable to watch. It's fucking great and actually emotional, kind of like emotionally engaging per se. So he's like regretful and mournful. And then Weller says, you know what, I did that because she's going to be in jail with you soon enough because she got caught stealing in the state of Alabama. She's going to be charged as an adult unless you fucking join up with me. Let me make you the leader of my team here I'm putting together, and you do the mission you're carried out to do because I choose you, Pikachu / Bloodsport. So he has no choice but to join up for the sake of his fucking daughter, so he can be a good daddy and shit. In jail, when she finally convinces him and he has no choice but to lead the whole Suicide Squad, Bloodsport, we then get slowly introduced, as we should have the first time around. Not this stupid, dead in spirit, dull as fuck, Weller reading like she just woke up from a nap, introducing Joker, Captain Boomerang, Diablo, whoever the fuck else too. No, she's actually lively with it. She's there to fucking do it too while they're walking together, and they go and meet fucking Peacemaker, John Cena, in a cell not too far removed from fucking Bloodsport. So he's the same exact thing as him. He's just a really jacked up fucking buff as unnecessarily as fuck white guy who's also a trained killer. They're pretty much both like Black Widows, but one's a black widow and one's a white, overly jacked white widow, Black Widow. They're just trained to kill and they have no powers whatsoever. Then them together go downstairs to meet in a restricted area fucking King Shark, who is awesome looking in the film. And I don't know why they couldn't do the same thing with something as easy as Killer Croc, which could have been awesome had they put some mass on the fucking man crocodile in 2016's version. But no, they fucked it up. He's just got a massive, big fucking lumpy head with like no fucking body, an anorexic alligator, if anything, is what he looked like. But no, King Shark, they got him right. Now, of course, he's not gonna look like King Shark looks in the Harley Quinn animated series, which again, excellent fucking series on HBO Max. If you haven't watched that or caught that at all, strongly recommend Harley Quinn, the animated series. It's hilarious, it's fucking great. He doesn't look like that King Shark, but as far as how close they can get a man/shark hybrid to look in the movie, of course with the help of special effects, chef's kiss to the graphic design artist who fucking made that happen impossible. Looks convincing the whole time. It really looks like the fucking top half of a great shark with like human legs at the bottom. So it's fantastic the way he looks, and he's actually funny. And I was surprised and baffled that of all people they got to fucking beat King Shark was, lo and behold, Slyvester Stallone, who we know and love and appreciate from Rocky. He really didn't have to stray too far from his own natural sounding voice in real life to do Rocky. So all that training with all them fucking Rockies, what is it, like 8, 9 Rocky movies in total, including Creed 1 and 2, came really well in hand for him to fucking play King Shark, because all he does is says 1, 2 words in like a dumb voice, which sounds like Rocky anyway, just swallowing gravel with a mouthful of fucking chum and bile. And then you got King Shark, another fucking easy paycheck for fucking, oh, I guess Slyvester Stallone, who isn't rich enough already or isn't famous enough already, just like Vin Diesel got that cush ass fucking gig as Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy for saying, oh, well, no, nothing beats Vin Diesel, because all he has to say is I am Groot in different intonations, pretend to be preteen, baby Groot, adult Groot, caught him whacking off in the bathroom Groot, I am Groot. That's it. King Shark is just almost as easy, but no one's got it easier or a cushier lifestyle than Vin Diesel / Groot. So that is true. But we get introduced to King Shark. Then after that, they all drag him all together, Weller, by the fucking collar, to meet motherfucking Ratcatcher 2. As they explained, Ratcatcher 1 died, so he had trained his daughter to be second Ratcatcher. So she's officially Ratcatcher 2. Now, I don't know who this girl is. I don't know. I think this might have been her first big thing she's done, or like one of her very first projects she's worked on. But again, I don't know her real name. It doesn't matter at this fucking point. She's cute as fuck. And she does a great fucking job throughout the whole time. As far as her performance, comedic timing, delivery, everything. Wonderful about her. So I got a good feeling, whoever this girl is, not only did she do such a great job here, that people were demanding she get her own spin-off fucking miniseries on HBO Max, just like, or instead of Peacemaker / John Cena getting his, because he's getting his for his character, I guess, for signing up. So if anybody really won for signing up and doing the Suicide Squad, I think it really is John Cena, because if you think about it, Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, she might play this shit again if they do a part 2, because obviously she lives. Are they gonna do maybe eventually a Harley Quinn solo movie, bio, you know, prequel, whatever? I wouldn't rule it out. Bloodsport. I'd love to see more Bloodsport. He was great throughout the whole fucking movie. Idris Elba really is like the go-to guy at this point now, but he's really so fucking good in this movie. Like, leaps and bounds above Deadshot or Will Smith, whatever he tried to do in the first one. He was cringe, he was corny, he was fucking just useless, and emo and all that too. Bloodsport is the man, and for a good reason he was made the leader of the fucking squad. But John Cena, I guess you could say, really did fucking get the bag, or really did fucking profit from playing his part as Peacemaker, because again, he's the one that's gonna get, out of all of them, a fucking series of his own on HBO Max whenever that fucking drops. I'll explain why, however, that's a huge mistake as far as why they gave it to him. Let's see, then we get introduced to Polka Dot Man, which his literal power is just flinging polka dots that was given to him by an intergalactic disease, as I understood, by his mother, who was a scientist and experimented on her own children to try to see if she can create superheroes in this case. His whole story and build up to is pretty fucking funny, and I enjoyed it. And he's one of those where, holy shit, how do they perfectly cast the right face, person, period, everything for this character, because he plays it beautifully, convincingly. I would think he's nothing but Polka Dot Man. Just like when, if you ever seen 8 Mile, just like I had casted Anthony Mackie, who I only know his name now because he got so popular as Falcon. When they casted him as Papa Doc, he was Papa Doc forever, according to everybody. I even saw him one time randomly at the fucking, at the New York International Auto Show here years ago, though. This is before fucking Falcon, I think. This is before, yeah, it might have been before Civil War, all that shit, where he was really, like, showcased properly. And I didn't know his fucking name at all. I just kept saying Papa Doc in my head. That's Papa Doc. He was with somebody too, another guy, and I wanted to walk up to him, but out of respect, I wanted to see, wait, I should really address this guy by his real name, not Papa Doc. But then since I'm a Virgo and I'm conflicted, I'm like, wait a second. Should I approach him as Papa Doc? Because I don't think he'll fucking care. He probably knows that everybody knows him as Papa Doc anyway. But then if I don't even try to remember his real name, and my service was really fucking bad in that fucking building too, so I didn't even get a chance to Google that shit. Then just walked away and he disappeared into the crowd, and I was like, God damn it, I could have met Papa Doc. But that was on me, I guess. Let's see, whatever. All right, so, oh yeah, so we get all introduced to thems. The plan is unveiled to them as far as them making it to the Gatita Amable, or the polite pussy, the strip club in Corto Maltese, to try to, again, get a hold of the guy who has access to get to the lab where the, was it Project Starfish, I think they called it. They have no idea what Project Starfish actually is, but to get access to the place, they gotta go through the guy that they gotta fucking pinpoint in the strip club of all places too. All right, so they make it there. They're on their way to carry out the mission and shit. What the fuck? What did I even write here? Oh shit. Oh yeah. So they make it to the fucking Corto Maltese. They make it at night, so they say, let's camp for the night. We'll fucking continue pursuit in the morning. They wake up because King Shark is hungry and tries to eat Ratcatcher 2, who's in such a deep sleep. That's a whole kind of like gimmick throughout the movie, that she sleeps so deeply she can't notice anything. As he's about to fucking wolf her down, Bloodsport has to shoot her out of his hands and subdue him, to the point where finally Ratcatcher can show off her power, which is literally holding a fucking beam like this pen I'm holding right now if you're watching the video version. And she summons all the rats possible within the nearest vicinity, which is kind of a creepy power. I'm not scared of rats, but then if I saw like nothing but a sea of rats approaching me from the floor, ready to fucking eat me or bite me or just, you know, squeak me to death, I'd be kind of freaked out too with that kind of power. So, as everybody else is, they're all scared. Bloodsport is actually, you know, rat phobic or scared of rats per se. And we get the very, I wouldn't say disturbing, but the unnecessary, they really try to make this funny, but I don't know who's gonna find this funny at all like that. John Cena or Peacemaker in his tighty whities underwear. My biggest problem, pause, and no pun intended, my biggest problem with John Cena / Peacemaker's bulge in this movie, in this part, in this scene, is I don't know what's going on with the cock. Pause again, by the way, and no offense to John Cena, I don't know how his personal life is going. Maybe he's enjoying his new wife too much per se, because this thing looks like it's gigantic, but he broke it at some point, like a broke cock. I've heard that actually exists, where you can like maybe lie on your dick that's erect on a mattress and bend it, and it stays bent because it's not supposed to be a bone, but somehow the shit bends, and it turns out it did for like the people I actually heard that about from. I don't know what they did to his bulge. I don't know what they fucking stuffed in there, or if that's legit his cock. Because if that's his cock, that thing might be so big he can tie it up into a pretzel knot or something and hang it off in the front. Because it's like the bulge is here, but then it's like twisting here, It's got the head up there, and it looks like a lumpy sack of potatoes hanging from his legs. It looks like a very fucking beat up, used, ready to just toss into the trash, like punching bag, if anything, too. Vaughn, I'm sure you know about punching bags, how they get lumpy and you gotta throw them out over time. His bulge, his cock, and tidy whities kind of looks like that. And I don't get how that was supposed to be funny, because on top of that, John Cena has some really cringe lines. Not offensive, not shocking, just like, that's the line they give this guy to try to be funny with. And he already doesn't have the best delivery either. Like, everything's the same fucking face, same fucking monotone, same fucking dry ass delivery. So it's like, I never liked John Cena in his promos in wrestling, and he's really not fucking hitting with the lines either now too. I'm scared to think they probably let him improvise a couple of lines too, which was a big mistake, because he is not funny like that, I'm sorry. Or he's trying way too hard. But yeah, that's enough about John Cena's bulge slash cock slash John Cena, Peacemaker, and tidy whities. But again, I just figured I'd point that out because, no pun intended, I point that out because it was just unnecessary to see. And again, I'm not offended, I'm not disturbed by it. It was just like, it just wasn't funny. And it didn't add nothing. It was just like, it's just there, literally, hanging. So yeah, there's that. They get it together. They fucking, get together as a squad should. They fucking continue going in Route 2, fucking La Gatita Amable, the polite pussy and shit. Let's see. Now they make it to like this little fucking village where we don't know this leading into it. I didn't know this, at least, or no one could tell. They're apparently freedom fighters, but it's like a little campground, whatever, full of people, which got guns and whatever too around them. So you can assume, oh shit, maybe this is low-key the army that was trying to capture the other unofficial Suicide Squad. So we gotta kill them off, which they proceed to do, all of them. Bloodsport, Peacemaker, all them shits too. This part's great, and it's funny. It's violent and funny and bloody and fucking, I'd even say damn near gory, because there's one part where Bloodsport and Peacemaker are competing with each other as far as who can do, or who can pull off the coolest kill, like shooting, throwing axes, chopping people into body parts. There's one part where Peacemaker just walks by a corpse, well, he turns it into a corpse, but it's some guy asleep under some sheets, and he just takes his axe and starts just whacking him up and down from like head to toe pretty much, with no mercy, no guilt, while looking Bloodsport dead in the eyes as he pulls up on another guy and kills him with some fucking thin piano wire and shit too. And they're just trading off fucking blows and murders. Like, okay, you did that, I'll do this, I'll fucking turn my back and not look. Okay, I'm gonna hop up on his roof and just like fucking blow dart people to death too as well. Peacemaker does that a bunch of times. And it's pretty funny overall. And also, we get proof of why this should have been R the first time around, because King Shark has his first kill on screen, which is just eating the guy whole and just swallowing him whole as a shark would, as we assume, and hopefully we'll never have to like confirm firsthand. There's that shit. But then we see that Flag is captured because he was part of the original squad that was the fake Suicide Squad. He's there chilling with the fucking freedom fighter leader, the captain and shit, which turns out, oh wait, they were freedom fighters. They were the ones that were going to team up with us, presumably to try to overthrow the fucking corrupt dictatorship taking over Corto Maltese. Oops, is the best they can do, which is, it hit. It was funny. Because again, they just kill these guys with no mercy. You're thinking bad guy killing bad guy kind of cancels out whatever, but then you find out, oh shit, they were the ones that were supposed to help you out as backup or like the forefront if you needed them to. Oops, they're dead. At least most of your team is and shit. So she takes that as it is. Oh yeah, so with the other Suicide Squad, the fake Chinese, 2 for $1 knockoff 99-cent store version of Suicide Squad they introduce us to, Harley's captured because she falls into a hole. The soldiers take her prisoner and shit too. At least she thinks they're gonna fucking kill her or do whatever they gotta do with her. And they don't. It actually turns out that the dictator, president, whatever the fuck he is, leader of Corto Maltese, wants her as a special guest invited to his fucking mansion. So they fucking throw her down the dress in the hole, put that shit on, bitch. They take her in a fucking limo, they clean her up, dress her up, makeup, hair, all that shit too, with a nice brand new dress, and introduce her to the fucking guy who's the leader of fucking Corto Maltese as a dictator and shit. So they lead up to him, and this is the part where I get mad, or I got mad, as I mentioned earlier with Grace Randolph's review of Suicide Squad, in which she lied and completely made up the part about Harley Quinn being raped in this fucking movie, which did not happen. Let me clear that up first, because of all people, James Gunn, even though he has a little scandal, trouble, whatever, they got him booted from Disney and Marvel, he's not gonna be stupid enough to fucking do this shit in a movie here, even if it's R-rated. Come on, let's relax. So when she's brought, Harley Quinn, when she's brought to the fucking Presidente, he's a good looking dude, whatever, he's getting out the pool as she's coming in, and she checks him out. She's fucking getting all wet in her pussy as he's dripping wet from his body from coming out the pool. So she's all excited and happy to see him. They introduce each other. He introduces himself to her saying, you know, you're my guest of honor because I know what you're capable of. I know what you've done already, all the dirt you've got, you know, on your fucking person. So I want you to be with me and be my guest of honor here. Shout out to Edward Zephyrin, Easy Gliding, for joining the live. So the issue I have is that he's a dictator and he forces Harley Quinn to be a dictator, because that's low-key his fucking interest in fucking her. And why not, as you've maybe heard yourself, or if others have told you, whatever, crazy girl's got the best pussy, allegedly. I don't fucking know. I wouldn't even dare take that risk, but that's what they say. So I guess maybe he's stuck on that, but he's not rapey vibes, he's not stalker, molester vibes, nothing. He's just legit like guest of honor, treats her to dinner, ballroom dancing, whatever the fuck they did too, leading up to a part where within the span of a day, they spend the day together, and he's like, you know what, let's get married, because a woman like you, that can strike fear into the hearts of anybody, even a man like me, because of how crazy you are. You're my bad bitch, you're the Clyde to my Bonnie, or is it, no, you're the Bonnie to my Clyde and shit. So I need you to fucking run ship with me in this fucking island so we can rule together with an iron fist and shit. She's jumping at the chance. She cuts him off mid-conversation to say, you're so freaking hot, jumps his fucking bones, and they start making out and throwing each other all over the place, presumably, and as they do, they fuck. And they fuck passionately and ravagingly, and like set the place on fire by mistake too, by knocking over a lit candle and shit too. I don't know in what I describe now, or if you go and watch the shit afterwards, where at all that could be described as rape. That could be described as a man forcing a woman to do anything if she jumped his bones and wanted him to be on top of her anyway, but she just took action immediately too when he was just saying, you know, I need you in my life. I can't even fucking envision a day without you at this point onwards. They just spent one day together, but so he's like really simping hard for her. But then they do that shit. They fuck, they wake up afterwards, and he explains his plan about fucking further experimenting with the fucking place they got the big Project Starfish at. We don't know it's the big ass starfish just yet, but he does allude to, well, you know what, to torture people and to getting the information we need out of them, we take their loved ones, meaning their spouses, elderly, and children. Oh, red flag. He says that we kill children basically to torture the people we want information from, or those who want to cooperate with us. As he has his back turned to her, and he turns around after saying, I kill kids because that gets me info, that gets me what I want. He turns around, bang, she shoots him in the chest. He's dead. She says out loud to him, which makes sense, I promised myself if I ever met another man or had another boyfriend, which caused some red flags to go off, I gotta kill him immediately. She does, and that's it for him. So then the next in line is the general of the fucking army. He's now officially the leader of the shit. Now again, I beg to ask the question, where in what I just described to you would it come off as a poor girl being raped or forced to do anything against her will sexually? Not there at all. So as I move on, I was very upset by that part because none of that shit happened. Another troublesome part was this review of Grace Randolph, beyond the trailer fame of course, had issues with was the alleged animal cruelty. Now, this I kinda barely sorta understand, only because there's alluding to the fact that like what, at least 20, 50 something parrots were burned alive because the general takes over. He's like, oh, well, this guy was busy being gay, like feeding birds most of his day and like killing people at night and shit, so no one took him seriously. Of course, that's why he got his body dropped by fucking Harley Quinn, of course. So they take his fucking prize bird cage, whatever he's got behind the mansion, and they set some gas and they light it ablaze. So it's set on fire with birds inside. Mind you, one, they don't show the birds or actual birds themselves getting burned alive, and two, you only hear the sound of what we can assume is what a bird would sound like if it was getting burned alive or burning to death. So apparently there's issues there. She had a big fucking issue with that, saying, oh my God, this is disgusting. It's a gratuitous display of animal cruelty. How could James Gunn be this twisted and demented and sick? Listen, stupid. Grace Randolph, whoever's got a fucking problem with that scene, anybody in general part of the woke, cancel, Karen, whatever the fuck, lump them all in together in a sack of stupid culture. The whole movie is surrounding the activities day in and day out of bad guys, criminals, dictators, warmongers, convicts, felons, murderers, etc., etc. All these people that do nothing but bad things. And in this case, the general had to lay down his fucking fist. Let it be clear, I'm the boss here. I run shit here. Y'all just live here. Shout out to fucking Training Day. And let it be known, this is proof that I'm that guy. Do not fuck with me. And he does it as proof. Like in wrestling, which I used to watch, a bad guy being a great bad guy makes people actually hate him or her, meaning they did a good job of being the bad guy. Duh! That's all there is to it. Exactly. Shout out to Yasin_ETLB for joining the live. Appreciate you, bro. And roasted like ever. Of course they was. Yeah. So those are two big issues I had with the movie, just because she brought them up and she represents too big an audience that would be too stupid to understand. First off, this is a movie. We're pretending here. None of that shit actually happened, so just relax. There's no need to fucking take it to heart like any of this shit actually happened. So yeah, there's a lot of that to take into account. So they finally make it to the fucking Gatita Amable, the polite pussy strip club. Because I'm assuming in this case, if they call it anything of that sorts, the strippers would have to be extremely nice, hospitable, and free lap dances for your first time visit just to get you to come back a second and third time, etc., etc. I would think. Also, La Gatita Amable is very triggering to me because I would have loved to come up with a name like that for a strip club had I ever owned one, or maybe I'll own one day. If we ever see past or live past this pandemic, who knows? But you know the deal. Alright, so they make it to the fucking club. They have to find this fucking guy who has access to the fucking place to get to Project Starfish, which we still don't know is a fucking starfish, a gigantic one if anything too. They find the guy. They put Ratcatcher and fucking, what's his face, Polka Dot Man to take him back to the van they fucking took with a guy driving. And King Shark's in there, by the way, too, because he can't get in the club, obviously. Not because of no idea being underage, but because he's a fucking half shark, half man, so obviously. So, of course, they leave it to fucking Peacemaker, Bloodsport, and Commander Flag to fucking be willingly taken hostage with the fucking armies that come through, and they fucking start checking IDs and shit. Kind of like the clubs now, too. Like, you know, let me see your fucking vaccine card and shit. Let me see your fucking whatever thing, negative COVID test and shit. And all that. So they take them hostage while, again, Ratcatcher 2 and fucking Polka Dot Man take the fucking bald idiot with them to fucking, well, have him cough up the info and make him comply with them as far as getting the Project Starfish. They have a cool scene in the fucking paddy wagon they're abducted in. Peacemaker, Bloodsport, and Rick Flag about one-hit kills with the guy. They fucking pull it off on the guards. They start killing the fucking guys inside the thing. Peacemaker has a very funny scene. thank God he says nothing so to make it corny. It's cool, it's funny in itself by him just grabbing the driver from the back of the paddy wagon, choking him, and slamming his head into the back of the fucking paddy wagon for like at least, I'm not kidding, I wish I was, for at least a minute. Boom, 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 back and forth. Like, he turns the guy's head into mush practically. While being caught up in that shit, he forgets, oh shit, this thing needs a driver. So then, of course, they crash, they go off the side of the road, and conveniently enough, the rest of them, Ratcatcher and fucking King Shark and all them, catch up to them to make sure they're okay, they're safe and sound, then boom, they're all back together. Now they're all rebonded and connected, on now to save Harley, because, oh yeah, Rick Flag remembers, oh shit, Harley's there, she's fucking still prison, we gotta save her ass before we get to Project Starfish. They go on the mission now, diverting to fucking save Harley Quinn, which again, as I brought up earlier, this is finally the one cool part, really cool part, I'd say probably from even the first Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, all that shit, where she's put the great, not good, not great, excellent use, Harley Quinn that is. She has a whole sequence where she's being tortured by the fucking general as far as getting tasered repeatedly until she gives up info. She doesn't, so she passes out presumably. General walks out, says, okay, you asshole, you know, whatever, guard, check on her and make sure when she comes back, gains consciousness, let me know so we can keep tasing her ass to get some info out of her. When they turn their backs, she's playing dead, playing possum, whatever. She wraps her legs around the guard, snaps his neck. It's a convincing kill, but then here comes the cool part. She gets herself freed. She walks out, she grabs guns, she's kicking ass, she's fucking taking heads off, she's slicing everybody left and right, just really massacring on her own. Which seems grossly exaggerated considering, yeah, okay, she's like a genius as far as her skills are concerned. She's like as far as the comics and all that shit too, all her embodiment, she's like a pretty good fighter. But holy shit, she's like wrecking shop on her own. She's like really cleaning house all on her own. Meanwhile, everybody else is out there planning to see how and when they need to be positioned to see how they can fucking save her in the first place. She's already took care of that herself. Just again, taking fucking whole armies of men's apart inside the fucking prison, whatever. She frees herself practically. So she's out of there. With that part though, it's really fun because it actually looks convincing. My big problem with a lot of movies nowadays, especially some of the Marvel films, is that they got too much CGI, special effects, green screen, yoinking, pulling, this, that, whatever, all over the place. No, here it's done well, it's shot beautifully, where it looks convincing, which is hard to do with all the green screen, hard wiring, all that shit too. But she does it where it looks like Margot Robbie is dressed up like a killer psychotic clown bitch and actually killing motherfuckers left and right, as only she can do as Harley Quinn, of course. But that's great. It looks wonderful, and again, it's the best and only good part that Harley Quinn has throughout the whole movie. So you can enjoy that once you get around to watching it too. Let's see, she frees herself. Everybody's out there outside waiting on her as they were ready to fucking spring her from prison. She lets herself loose. Okay, they get together. And now they got the fucking bald guy. They're holding him prisoner and being like, hey, asshole, are you home? Yeah, good. So we need you to get us access into the fucking starfish, whatever the fuck is, so we can actually, you know, blow this shit up and get the fuck out of here. And mission completed for us at least. You might fucking die if you lie to us or, you know, tell us otherwise too. Here's another cringe part, and what's sad is that we just got this excellent part with Harley Quinn as far as her killing and freeing herself and just being a badass in general. We now move on to her being, again, stupid, borderline childlike with the humor and contributing nothing to what she fucking says, which is pretty much any word that comes out of her mouth throughout the whole fucking movie. Nothing. It's not funny. It's supposed to be. It's not smart. It never was supposed to be. Nothing. It just fucking falls flat all the time. They really, I think because it's James Gunn, overall there is like that, there are the vibes where you can compare it to Guardians, but it's still its own thing, uniquely enough. Oh, shout outs to Plug Wave Music for joining the live. Appreciate you, bro. It's there. Suicide Squad is still its own thing, thank God, mostly because it's R-rated. But I think what he was trying to make Harley unofficially was because they had so much success with Drax or Batista as Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think he was trying to do the same with Harley and make her like the Drax of the Suicide Squad here, where she says a lot of nonsensical shit that makes no sense whatsoever, and lines that go over your head, and they stay over your head because they don't come back to loop around like a boomerang and try to hit you with something funny. No, they just go over you, they're gone for good, and thank God, because a lot of the fucking jokes, almost all the fucking jokes and lines that she delivers, no bueno, trash, not funny at all. Here in this interrogation scene, it's a lot of them fucking lines. Like, I'm just walking around the place stomping randomly. Like, someone's supposed to laugh at that. Or whatever. But yeah, they fucking eventually make their way into the fucking starfish tank with the massive overgrown alien starfish, where it's revealed finally, because they had to plant bombs to fucking blow the whole shit up and get rid of it so they can finish their mission. No one thought of this shit, and no one knew except for the bald guy with like tubes sticking out of his head like he was a Hellraiser, whatever that movie was, that horror shit was, with the guy with the needles all over his fucking face and shit too. Only he knew it was a giant alien starfish trapped in that fucking building, and then as they fucking exploded too early, it's let loose. It's taking over. It's wrecking the fucking city, tearing it piece by piece, building by building, all that shit too. There's the bad guy. Starro the Conqueror versus fucking the Suicide Squad. We get that former fucking proper title screen thrown at us, and there it is too. So as they infiltrate the fucking place, there's apparently a secret that happens, or that's unveiled. Not only is the lab where Starro the Conqueror, the big-ass starfish from outer space, is revealed to be the ultimate bad guy, or the monster the US government was hiding and experimenting on in Corto Maltese, it turns out that also, with those secrets, there's also a whole fucking lab down there exposing all the time they've had with this fucking thing in their possession from space. The astronauts that grabbed it out of fucking space experimented on it too. So presumably it's an alien that was captured, and once it got the chance to be freed, it wrecked shop. It fucked things up for everybody around it too. So are you really surprised that maybe, I don't know, an alien got upset for being held captive for so long, grew in strength and physically, of course, too, as well, and once it got the chance to bust loose, it did, and it started fucking everybody up around it too, eating, tearing everybody apart and all that shit too? Should we really be surprised? So no, we're not. So then that's the whole fucking secret by the US government, to hide this big ass starfish that's a killer, and an alien on top of that too. Which could be alluding to fucking how they tried to play off, what was it, last month of June? Like, they had to actually address the alien situation. They said, well, maybe they do exist, maybe they don't, but who the fuck knows? We're just the government. Wink, wink, whatever. But that happens. They got a whole hard drive, and then Peacemaker shows his true colors as far as being, I guess you could say Weller's lapdog, and showing that while Flag wants to destroy the hard drive, I'm sorry, not destroy. He wants to actually grab the hard drive and show it to the Americans so they know that, oh shit, this has been a government ploy the whole time. Peacemaker wants to grab it from him and keep it safe, or hand it back to Weller so that no one knows about this shit existing. But of course they get into a fight. Fast forward a little bit, once they're fighting each other off, Peacemaker and Flag, comes a really cool part, but also kind of confusing, because then I had to remember, oh yeah, they are regular humans trained to be killers, otherwise they have no superpowers, especially Peacemaker. They're fighting each other, Peacemaker and Flag. Peacemaker kills Flag, spoiler alert. It's a very cool kill also, because he stabs him with some loose marble tile on the floor, stabs him right through the heart, and then you get like a little brief scene of the pointy edge of the tile piercing through his fucking heart, and obviously killing him. Flag spews out his last words of Peacemaker, what a joke, because Obviously, he was the farthest thing removed from being a peacemaker. If anything, he was just a killing machine for hire. But they're beating each other up so much, and they're throwing shit at each other's heads, and they're just, he's thrown over here, he's thrown over there. They're really fucking doing damage to each other to the point where us regular humans probably wouldn't take all those blows to the head without dying, but they survive it both. But then again, I had to remind myself, oh yeah, Peacemaker has no superpowers. He's just a really highly trained assassin. Flag is just an army guy overall too, so who the fuck knows about him? Peacemaker kills him, and it's like, well, he showed his true colors. He had to take the hard drive back to Weller. Ratcatcher's there too as well, fucking watches and sees him actually kill Flag. So then she takes the hard drive, runs off with it, and as Peacemaker finally pins down Ratcatcher too to kill her off and try to, I guess, escape the island with the hard drive, get back to Weller. Thank God, motherfucking Bloodsport drops in literally from the fucking ceiling. They have a stare down. They're both highly trained assassins, similar skill levels. They shoot each other. Bloodsport has a smaller bullet that pierces right through the bigger bullet shot by Peacemaker. Hits him in the fucking throat, and presumably you can assume Peacemaker's dead. He's left at least there to die, so we think he's fucking dead most likely. Alright, so that's it with him. He's out of the picture. But now Starro, the big ass starfish, alien, whatever, is let loose on the city. He's fucking destroying everything in sight. So now it's only King Shark, Bloodsport, Harley, Polka Dot Man, and Ratcatcher 2. Peacemaker's out of the picture, presumably, of course. Spoilers, he does live afterwards. But that's not till the very end credit scenes. After the fucking credits, you get treated to that fucking scene, which a lot of people weren't happy about, apparently, from what I saw on Twitter and reviews otherwise. So then they're left to fight the thing. They can't fucking figure out how to do it. What's his name? Polka Dot Man shoots his fucking powers, his polka dots, and throws it at the fucking starfish and burns through one of its limbs. And they figure, oh shit, we got the fucking cheat code. We got the Contra up, down, left, right, ABC code to fucking beat this overgrown thing finally. But then one of his limbs either falls off or he just fucking puts his foot down and black. Polka Dot Man is dead. He's out of the fucking picture. They fucking sent King Shark to try to just fucking bite him. Whatever they can fucking do to him, as a shark would, of course, too. He just grabs him, he flings him, he throws him against a building, and you can just assume that probably King Shark is dead anyway, so he's out of the picture too. So now it's only Bloodsport, Harley, and Ratcatcher 2. Oh shit, it's like they're down for the count. And then fucking Bloodsport runs out of weapons and arsenal to fucking use it all, so he's like left to just hand-to-hand combat. All these fucking zombie, starfish-faced people that have been mind-washed and warped by fucking Starro the Conqueror too, because he shot out like starfishes that like latch to your face and suck your brain out to control it. So now Harley ran off to fucking play on the roof and shit like an idiot would, because she's been an idiot throughout the whole film too. It's down to Ratcatcher and Bloodsport. They're doing their thing. Ratcatcher saves the fucking day. Ratcatcher 2, excuse me, saves the day for all of them. More specifically for Bloodsport, because she summons her fucking rat light beam, whatever, calls on all the rats to fucking storm the city and fucking start crawling and climbing up motherfucking Starro the Conqueror. I guess Bloodsport's scared of the rats. Motherfucking Starro, this overgrown massive alien starfish hybrid, whatever the fuck it is scared of rats too, because it stays still in place while the rats are just crawling slowly up its fucking entire body. Alien, by the way. So I don't know why aliens of all things would be scared of rats, but then again, rats, whatever. Then conveniently enough, Harley has this fucking Gavilan, this big spear, the Gavilan guy left behind because, of course he died. She's running off rooftops. She's fucking parkouring all over the place in this fucking ravaged city. Conveniently enough, so she can get the fucking final death blow by jabbing this fucking thing in its massive eye with the fucking javelin, spearing clear through it, diving into its eye, its fucking eye fluid, whatever, too. The rats are able to make it through to the eye and start eating the thing from the inside out. And as the thing is dying, the alien, it says, and it utters a pretty, actually deep quote, considering it's a fucking evil thing. I was happy, floating staring at the stars, because it's also a starfish, but it's an alien, it's a hybrid, all this shit too. So finally they killed a big ass fucking starfish. It's dead. The fucking heroes that are left is Bloodsport, Ratcatcher 2, Flag. Flag died, of course. Flag, my mistake. So Bloodsport, Ratcatcher 2, and motherfucking Harley Quinn, of course, she can't die. And then King Shark makes his way back. So he lived. He just got flung into a building, survived it because he's like a brute, he's like a Hulk. Comes back into the picture, like nothing happened. In this case, what we're left is the three of them. They're fucking, what do you call it? Oh yeah, I forgot there was a whole part where Weller was like gonna blow them all up and kill them because they were done with the fucking exploding of the Project Starfish thing, the facility where they held the fucking alien. They were done, and she was like, okay, mission accomplished. Oh wait, but this is massive alien destroying this whole fucking city full of people and shit. What we're gonna do is like, fuck them. They can handle themselves, or if they can't, boo-hoo. You fucking jump ship and get your ass back here because I need you for another fucking mission. So then they say, no, fuck that. We need to be fucking good guys for once, or at least save these people that done nothing to anybody. Go back around and save their ass. And they do. So then she threatens to fucking blow their heads off with the fucking little thing she's got to control them and shit too. But then as she's about to push the button and actually kill them all for fucking trying to be actual heroes instead of her, who's a fucking coward in the ugly skirt in the office, one of her fucking co-workers takes a golf club and whacks in the fucking head and drops her. So they're only able to fucking stay alive because of some office people wanting to see them fucking still do their thing and save a third world country, island, nation, whatever the fuck Corto Maltese is, or however you define it as. But yeah, that is mostly the movie in itself. Overall enjoyable. I mean, listen, this, let alone being rated R, was already a cheat code as far as this being better than 2016's version of Suicide Squad. So easier said than done there by doing that. Now, let's see if there is anything, let's say, bad I can say about this, and I'm being honest too. A lot of the jokes don't really hit or hit their cue as far as being funny, period. Again, they kind of go over your head and they stay above your head and never to be seen again, like UFOs of anything too, because they don't kind of belong there. They're kind of forced in there. That's the part I don't like, because it's trying to give this movie, The Suicide Squad, that unofficial like Guardians of the Galaxy vibes or energy too, with the jokes randomly here and there. Again, I think they were really trying to make Harley like DC's version of Drax, like Drax was for fucking Guardians. But unfortunately for them, Drax or Batista is actually a funny fucking guy who can carry his lines and deliver them properly, versus Harley / Margot Robbie, who has no experience being funny, isn't really funny. She's just great to look at, but played Harley Quinn good to look and looked good enough doing so that they let her keep fucking doing the thing there. But she's not a comedian. She's not there to be funny. She's not there to deliver shit to actually make it be funny too. So that was a big fail for me. Also, besides her not being funny, 95% of the time she's like borderline idiotic, stupid. A word I can't even say no more starting with R, but you know the vibes. But yeah, she's kind of useless, to be honest too, besides that one redeemable part where she goes on a killing spree to free herself from that prison. Other than that, she's fucking the pits. She's fucking useless and stupid, and she was not raped, for the record. Let's make that clear also. Let's see. Cena, John Cena specifically, and or Peacemaker, is also terribly unfunny. Like, does this man... Okay. Wrestling might not be the best acting school per se, because if you can be a great actor in the wrestling world, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to carry over into Hollywood and be like fucking Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino level fucking acting skills. We get that. Obviously, best example of that would be The Rock, who is The Rock as an overgrown fireman in this movie. The Rock as an overgrown fucking detective, as an overgrown fucking football coach in all the fucking movies he does. It's just different caps, same fucking guy underneath it. Like, no commitment to it. No disrespect to The Rock, He's still pretty funny sometimes, but a lot of shit's like, really? You just got there because you're fucking massive and big and brown, representing the whole fucking culture. No one would think you were because they just think you're like half black, half white. But then wait, he's Island Pacifica or Asian, whatever the fuck, AAPI and shit. Oh wow, The Rock, ooh, whatever. But back to John Cena or Peacemaker. Casting wise, I don't know why they picked him, honestly. For the name, recognition, I don't know from what. It's hard because of course it's bulged from earlier, but it's hard to see why or how they even came to the decision of picking John Cena's Peacemaker, because he makes the costume look terrible. He's horrendously big, like bulging all over the place with traps and fucking arms and all this shit too, whatever. It's just, he can't fit that costume properly. Like, I'm pretty sure his gloves weren't even like from a costume shop. They were like fucking like the extra large gloves you get for like cleaning up at home or like a house cleaning service, because they just look absolutely stupid on him and ridiculous. His pants, his fucking shirt, his helmet, everything too. That's bad enough. Also the fact that he's not funny, he's not convincing me that he might actually be funny low-key or nothing. A lot of shit is cringe, he says too. Like, not offensive cringe, but like cringe like, why are you fucking talking so much, please? Why do they allow you to do that? And yeah, besides that, Harley being like kind of stupid most of the time too, that's the bad. The good is, like I mentioned too, the music wasn't as perfectly picked like they did with Guardians, but it's almost there, close enough. I enjoyed it throughout, and they weren't like easy fucking playlist hits that your parents would have picked or you would have picked, you know, depending on how old you are. They're not known like that, all the songs. So some of the songs are subtle, you gotta dig for them a little bit too, but again, not on the fucking platform or spear that Guardians of the Galaxy did it with too, which was like almost perfect for the first time and second time for each movie. Let's see. I like that King Shark wasn't boring, he wasn't cringe, he was actually kind of funny sometimes too. There was just enough of him too as well, which is good. Idris Elba or Bloodsport again is fucking excellent throughout the fucking thing. Thank God they made him the lead. They didn't put that on fucking Harley to be the lead. They made the right choice here. Harley's barely in the fucking movie, and for a reason, because Idris Elba Bloodsport is fucking great. Funny, precise, convincing as far as killing and shit too, or getting dramatic, or you know, having that whole dramatic explosive scene with his daughter early on too. Later on when he's like the protector unofficially of Ratcatcher 2 as well. He's just great overall in this shit. I had a hard time coming up with the score, but I'm gonna have to stick with it, and it's gonna be a hard one. Maybe not as hard as John Cena's oddly misshaped, I can't tell what's going on, he needs to see the dick doctor soon enough bulge, but it's a hard up and stuck with a 1 very hard R, 1 ear out of 2, because I can't give it a 1.5. There was a lot and too much of Harley Quinn being stupid and Peacemaker being fucking poorly casted. It's too much in there for me to try to give it a 1.5. I was tempted to, just because just about everything else was done just right for the movie, but I think they could have taken more time to really think it through and maybe recasted, or just forget John Cena, you can't see me at all, at least casting wise choice. Pick someone else have done Peacemaker, and maybe really reconsider, redraft fucking whatever dialogue they gave Harley Quinn, especially the jokes. The jokes were terrible from her throughout the whole fucking movie. Again, she did redeem herself with the fucking action part, her freeing herself from her prison, but that's about it really. So I'm gonna stick with that. 1 ear out of 2 for fucking 2021 Suicide Squad.